Hi friends, in this today's lecture I am going to discuss the different models used in construction of national highways, because people are often confusing what exactly these models, and also if at all you wanted to attract the investments and what exactly the problem in the present investment model in constructing the highways, you need to know the different models that are available. Okay, so first of all, I'll come to the concept of infrastructure. This infrastructure is important for any country, that too for India it is very important. In this highways is very important. Generally when it comes to the infrastructural projects, that too infrastructural projects, sometimes they will take lot of time to complete. So the longevity of the project is very high. That is the reason why private people generally they don't come in this infrastructural projects. They want to invest in the companies and take profits and provide employment, they can do that. But when it comes to the infrastructural projects, they don't come because their profitability is less, because they need to spend some thousands and thousands of crores on a project which will give you returns only in 20 to 30 years. That is the problem. Suppose take the case of a national highway. Just it is having, just assume it is 500-kilometer national highway. So it is something like a 6-lane highway. Just assume it is a 6-lane highway, and in this 6-lane highway some company has spent some 15,000 crore. 15,000 crore. Then when they will get the money? Suppose if private people invest, okay, you need to erect some toll gates here, okay, you have erected some toll gates, but when you will collect this toll, that too to that extent of 15,000 crore, it takes 20 to 30 years. That is the reason why private people really don't interest in these infrastructural projects, especially in highway projects. That is the reason why it is the duty of the government to create infrastructure, and these models applicable for other projects also, but I am explaining in the aspect of highways. Okay, these models can be used for other projects also. So that is why government is the prime investor or the prime creator in infrastructure facilities. So now the burden is lies with the government. So now I am writing two things. One is public funded, but there is another thing called public private participation, PPP funded, and there is no project called something like a private funded infrastructure completely. Okay, to some extent it is happening in some cases, in some of the cases like airports and somewhere, but it is not happening in our regular highway projects. So when it comes to the public funded, there are two aspects are there in public funded, two types actually. One is item rate, second one is EPC model. That means engineering, procurement and construction. So I'll come to first item rate. So what is this item rate model? Again it is public funded. Public funded means 100% will be burdened by the government only. When it comes to this item rate, the detailed design and specifications and even estimates, everything will be provided by the government only. So what is the design, what are the specifications, what are the estimates, everything will be decided by the government, and contractor is paid for the quantities executed as per the item wise quoted in the bids. So that means they will design, okay, I need a particular project whose area is this much and I need this much amount of some that empty place, and you need to develop with some gardening here, and you must use these many windows, and okay, this much I'm just talking about a particular building. Okay, so you need to have some two fans, two lights, okay, one thing, okay, this is the project, and this is a 2-floor building. I'm giving simple example. The same thing can be applied to road projects also. So government want to construct it. So every design, every specification and estimates also. Okay, just assume the estimate is some 20 lakh for this. Everything is provided by the employer. Employer in the sense the government. Now the bids will be open for this. Whoever is interested in with these specification and these estimates, now they will go for the bid, and in that bidder, the bidder will get some different things. Okay, once you completed the whatever the basement thing, you will be given 20,000 rupees. After completion of roof, you will be get some 1 lakh rupees. After completion of wall, you will be get 5 lakh rupees. After flooring, you will get some 10 lakh rupees. In that they will again, so by the completion of the project you will get the 20 lakh. So this is the bids. So now by completing each and every aspect, you will get money from the government. Suppose if any escalations happen because of anything, the government will take care about that. But the entire design, specification, estimates will be provided by the government, and the contractor is paid for the quantities executed as per the item wise mentioned in the bids, and any risk of any cost will be burdened by the employer only, and that means government only. This is the thing. But now over a period of time, what happened is, does really government have such a technical proficiency to go for design and specifications of every project? Does really government is catching up with the new technological inventions that are happening in and around world, or they are simply going with the same model like whatever the earlier model? So that is the reason why they come with this EPC model. So in this EPC model, what they have said is, full freedom to plan, design and construction is given to the contractor. But the core, whatever the core requirements of design construction will be mentioned in the whatever the bid. Okay, I wanted to lay a road. Suppose take the case of road. Suppose I wanted to lay a road of, just assume 70 kilometers from so and so. This is a 2-lane road with some plantation in between to avoid the accidents, and you need to have some signboards, and there are some curves are there here. It is some hilly area, so you need to do that. This is the project. And if these core specifications are mentioned, and after that full freedom is given to the private people for both planning, designing and construction. And if you give such a freedom, they can bring that innovation and they can think in a different manner, and so that they will bring in the efficiency, they will bring new designs. And when it comes to the cost will be paid by the government to those people. Again, the cost is depending on the bids. And when these biddings comes, there are two things called technical bids and financial bids. And first of all, they will select the technical bids, whether what type of technology you are using, what type of technical proficiency that you are bringing, and if you are success in that, you will go for financial bid, and if this financial bid is acceptable to you, then you can go for the project. But here lot of freedom is given, but again 100% is owned by the government. So the problem here is, government may not have technical proficiency. That is the reason why we went for this model where private people bring their technical proficiency, and you are reimbursing the entire amount according to that schedule, prepared schedule of completion. So this is an EPC model. So these two things are public funded. That means 100% is burdened by the government alone. Private people don't bring his money, whatever he brings, and everything. Again, private people don't spend. Whatever the thing, initially they will come up with some money and they will spend. Once they have completed, again they will get from the government, again they will use that money again. But in practical, some hiccups are there. The thing is, government don't reimburse the money in an appropriate time. So private people are spending that money, and again they are waiting for the clearances from the government. This is a practical thing. But when it comes to the theoretical aspect, yes, government is completely burdened by the 100% burdening is done by the government. Now when it comes to PPP model, why government has come with PPP model? Again, this is some upgradation to the EPC model. See, in the earlier this item rate model, government don't have a technical proficiency. That is why they went for EPC model. But the problem with the EPC is, some people will bring some technical proficiency or innovation or anything, but government don't have that money, because government need to create lot of things. Suppose to lay a road from Bangalore to Thiruvananthapuram, just assume it is a 6-lane or 8-lane highway, just assume it involves a cost of 50,000 crore, then from where government will bring this money? If government don't have any revenues, then what they will do is they will go with this PPP model. PPP model means public and private people, both the people will come, and the executing authority is private people, and they will also bring some finance, and sometimes government will also adjust some finances so that the project will be completed. Now in this PPP model we are having three different models. I'll explain. First one is BOT model. So BOT model means build, operate, transfer. So what is this build, operate, transfer? In this build, operate, transfer, the design, development done by the private people. Suppose take the case of road, okay, the design and development is done by the private people. Private people brings this money, 50,000 crore they will bring, and they will try to invest. And how they will collect the money then? They will erect the tolls. So again these tolls and everything will be decided by the government in cooperation with the private people, because at the time of projects inviting the bids itself, they say, okay, what is the cost of project, and what is the length you are going to make, and what type of technology you are using, and how many tolls we are collecting, how much amount of toll that you can collect, so that the business become viable. In that manner they will select the bidders, and these people collect, and they cannot do it for lifelong time. There is a project time, maybe just assume 25 years. And for 25 years the entire toll gate collection rights are with the private people only. They will collect the tolls from the public who are utilizing these highways. And once the 25 years is over, they will hand it over this project to government again, because by that time their project time is over. And in this entire 25 years the operation and maintenance of these highways is lies with that private people. And after 25 years what will we do? Again it is up to the government, whether government can manage this, or if you want some modernization on this, again they will go for another bidding of private people, and also another private person will take. That's a different story. But in build, operate, transfer model, they will build, they will operate, and finally they will transfer to the government. But when they are developing and when they are maintaining, they can have the every right to go for this toll collection, and the tolls they cannot charge on their own wish. Again it is with the consultation with the government, and those things will be clearly mentioned in the bidding, whatever the bids, whatever they have filed. Okay, so this is build, operate, transfer model. Now here tax will be collected by private people. Second one is build, operate, transfer. Earlier one is build, operate, transfer toll model. Now it is build, operate, transfer annuity model. Now what is the problem with the first one? The first one problem is, yes they can do, but private people are not interested in bringing 50,000 crores, that means high amount of money in one highway project, and if that is in that project they can't utilize for another thing because they have to wait for 25 years. That means that entire amount is lied in the 25 years for that project only. That is the main problem. That is why private people are not encouraged, or they are not interested in bringing capital into these type of projects. Next, okay, anyway, BOT annuity model. So in this annuity model is the design, development, and even operation and maintenance is lies with the private people for the period whatever they have filed the bids, or for whatever the time that the government has granted. So in that time they have to design, they have to develop, they have to build, and they need to operate and maintain for, just assume if it is 25 years, okay, for 25 years they need to maintain. Okay, this is a road. Again there is a toll. Toll is very inevitable thing, because if you want to use these benefits you have to pay the toll. Okay, that is the thing, because if you don't want to pay the toll, then government don't have the money, so they cannot build a super class infrastructure and facilities. Okay, anyway, when it comes to the toll collecting authority is government. Now what the government will do is, suppose just assume private people has brought some 20,000 crores of investment here. Now what the government will do is, every year an annuity basis they will pay some amount of money, whether it is 2000 crore or 5000 crore, it's all depending on the terms. So every year these private people will get some money, and until how many years? 25 years. How much they need to spend? What is that schedule? Schedule will be decided by the government and the private people in that bidding process. So that means in BOT annuity model, private people brings the capital, they design, they develop, they will operate, they will maintain for the whatever the time period that we have signed, and here the government own the property and government collects the money, and this money will be disbursed to the private people on an annuity basis, that means every year. So that is BOT annuity model. And here just observe both BOT toll model and BOT annuity model, private people are bringing capital, government is not bringing any capital there. Though in all PPP model private people brings the technology, but when it comes to the capital, it is only private people that are bringing capital in both BOT toll model and BOT annuity model. But private people sometimes they are so reluctant to bring this capital. I already discussed the problem, because the longevity of the project is very high and they think like, if I invest this amount of money in somewhere, I am getting huge return, that is why I don't bring this capital here. But at the same time, government don't have enough amount of the capital with its to invest in these highway projects. Now the combination of these two things, the government has brought a new thing called hybrid annuity model. And what is this hybrid annuity model? In this hybrid annuity model, 40% of the capital by the government, it gives as a gift or something by government, burden by. Next 60% by the successful private bidder. So the one who is selecting in the bid, he will bring 60%. Literally government is giving this 40% to this private people, so that it become 100%, and the private people start constructing this highway. Again design, development, operational, maintenance, everything is by the that private people. So the concessionary or the whatever thing, and here the private people maintain operation and maintenance, the design, everything is done by the private people. But this property is owned by the government. If at all any toll collection happens, the toll collection is taken by the government, but this government will try to repay the 60% to the private people in an installment wise or in a phased manner. And the 60% plus operation and management charges also will be paid by the government, because government don't maintain this road, government will only give 40% initially, they will operate the tolls and they will collect the tolls, and the planning, design, developing, operation, maintenance done by the private people. But this is not something, this is something like a hybrid, and this is something like the annuity model. But here the problem is government also bringing 40% money, and this 60% plus O&M charges will be paid to the private bidder in a subsequent manner. That schedule again will be with the government, and both private and government will decide combinedly. But the owner is again government here. So why actually we have brought this model? Because these people don't want to bring 100% money. But anyhow, government is giving 40, government is the owner, government is collecting the toll, and they are reimbursing this 40 plus O&M in a phased manner or in an installment wise manner. So this is hybrid annuity model. Why you need to understand these models is because infrastructure is very important for the development of the country, and when it comes to the infrastructure, capital and technology is necessary. When capital and technology is bringing by the capital people, there are some problems with that. Private people, they don't want, because actually what they are saying is, okay, I must have an every right to sell these entire project to somebody, and I'll get my capital back and I'll try to invest my capital somewhere, because I can't wait till 20 years or 15 years to get my capital back. So I need to have an idea to monetize my project. So if the private people who are really constructed, they have an every chance to monetize that. So they can sell it to some more people and they will collect that money from that and they will invest in some other. And the one who is purchase that asset, now he will operate that for 20 years or 30 years. It creates lot of employment opportunities, and also it gives lot of freedom for the private investors to invest in different areas also. So there is a Vijay Kelkar committee on this, and some other committees are there, but the point here is you need to understand these investment models, and these models will applicable in other areas also. If you want to bring any change in these models, then definitely you need to understand the existing models. Lot of innovation is happening in these sectors, because you need to utilize the private technology, you need to allow the private people, at the same time you need to incentivize the private people, at the same time you need to create much more employment opportunities with the same project. How can you do that? You have to be innovative. Okay, in the same thing, government can monetize this project to some more person. Instead of government is collecting the tax, it will assign this task to some more private people, so that private people will collect the money and they will give it to the government, and government will pay this, or otherwise they can link that person can directly pay to these private people, and they will they will collect the tax in an efficient manner with use of high technology. You can get the innovative ideas. Once you monetize, no, you will get some lump sum amount of money, and that money will come to the government, and government can pay some part of 60%, and government can use some amount of money for the developing of another things. So like, you need to be innovative, and if at all you want to be innovative, you need to understand these models. That innovation is very 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 important at this critical juncture for the country like India. So please have an idea on these different models, and if suppose if you get any questions like any innovative models, because private people are not so enough incentivized to enter into this infrastructure, what are the new innovative model that you can suggest? You can suggest from there onwards. Don't suggest BOT models and HEM model, because these are the existing model. You can go for the new model. How can I? So in this entire process, how can I really hand over the entire capital in a limited amount of time to the private people, and how it can create lot of employment? Okay, how can I bring new players in this? So these are very important things. Okay, these are something about the different models used mostly in construction of national highways, but you can also use it in other sectors also. Okay, thank you.